Hello, hello. Welcome. It is a pleasure and a joy to have you here. So, today we're talking about overcoming addiction in the fastest and most effective way. When I say addiction, I am referring to all addictions, so sex, drugs, and rock and roll, as well as the lesser known but still relevant shopping, plastic surgery, food, and occasionally even a person. First, you will learn what sobriety and addiction actually are, not what they have told you it is. Second, we are going to bust some mental health myths. And for 3 and 4, you are going to learn the two things that fix addiction for good when done correctly. Please bear in mind that this is just a 15-20 minute webinar and I am giving you the Spark Notes version. So no webinar is a replacement for professional help, so do seek it if you need it. And at the end of this video, I will tell you what your options are should you wish to work with me. Now, quick brief on yours truly. As fascinating as I am, you didn't come here just to meet me, although I wouldn't blame you. But it is important that you know what is possible for you, so I will give you the Spark Notes version on myself as well. After my father's death, I developed anorexia, bulimia, and substance abuse, which continued for 7 years, and I kept a complete secret. And one day, after some holistic trial and error, I woke up to find that I had absolutely no desire at all to binge, purge, drink, drug, or smoke, which, objectively speaking, is pretty incredible because I healed myself by myself of several difficult and even deadly mental health problems without ever telling a soul or seeking direct help. And this is what sparked my passion in personal development and led to my change in career. And I had it pretty good at work, let me tell you. So fast forwarding almost a decade till today, I have helped close to 1,000 people make the kinds of changes that take years and years happen in days and weeks with permanent results. I run 7 programs, and you can see them all on my website, www.mindbody-magic.com. And according to my clients, many who have been through therapy or fancy Swiss rehabilitation centers before meeting me, my methods really are the fastest and the most effective. Okay, now listen up. When I speak of sobriety and that you can get and stay sober, I do not mean a kind of sobriety that is difficult or a huge struggle or effort. No. By working on multiple conscious, unconscious, and somatic levels, we can completely bypass the need to hyper-control behavior, which is how many people try to approach addiction and thus why they fail. So this place and state I am referring to, let's call it your inner sanctum, is the ultimate addiction antidote. It is inside you already. This way of being, this mental emotional homeostasis, which is completely natural and possible for everyone, is a place of authentic contentment. And this place is a little bit like feeling full. So the balance, joy, and natural sobriety of your inner sanctum is like choosing not to eat any more after dinner because you are already full. Full from such a yummy and satisfying meal that you don't even want to have another bite. Or go to a casino, seduce someone, or buy a bottle or a baggie. So many people don't find this place, which is why they fail, which is why so many of these centers and so many therapists fail. So from this place, making the right choices becomes easy because you get to have a choice. And real freedom is the freedom and ability to choose. So, upwards and onwards we go, my friends. First, I will share this information and then I will let you know what your options are for working with me. And diving right in with the myth busting. So, myth number one is that change is hard or that it's a long, hard road to recovery. So, that's complete garbage, which will make more sense by the end of this video. So, with the right knowledge, techniques, support, the process can be both fast and smooth when you are working with someone that knows what they're doing. Myth number two, addiction is a disease. So, addiction is not a disease. So, there's a reason success rates with addiction, outside of my work that is, aren't great. And that's because the approach is wrong, which is why we are redefining things now. Addiction is not a disease. You are not sick. You are lost and disconnected from your true or your inner self. And compulsive behavior of pleasure seeking is what addiction is. Myth number three, medication is the answer. So, medication is crippling. If you have anxiety, depression, which often comes alongside addiction, and you are relying on medication for it, you will never reach your potential and you will never fix your problem. You will just suppress it. So, taking medication is like never taking the training wheels off your bike. The solutions I mention improve every area of mental health. And mental health myth number four is that you should be in rehab. So, the reality of rehabilitation centers, my dears, is that they are overpriced, understaffed, generic, impersonal, and they take you away from real life. There are better, more thorough, more personalized, faster, and more integrated ways. And you want to be working with someone who is passionate about what they do, which is especially important for matters of the mind and heart. It makes all the difference. All right, next on the agenda. So, addiction is a behavior. The first thing you need to know about addiction is that it's a behavior. That's it. A neurological, biological, and physical response to thought processes, which means that if you change the thought processes to a nicer one, you automatically change the behavior. It's like a domino effect. So, the basis of most addictive behaviors is that the individual is looking for pleasure outside the self via an overindulgence in physical or external pleasure or stimuli. So, you have been looking for happiness or pleasure in the wrong places. To fix this, you must change this behavior. So, the pleasure or thrill you can get from things, people, or substances is diluted and infinitesimal compared to what is available to you externally. So, external pleasures pale in comparison to the internal. But when you have both, you have paradise. So, this is not only the best way to overcome addiction, but also the fastest path to ultimate happiness and fulfillment. So, whether it's sex, drugs, or rock and roll, all addiction comes down to behavior, albeit compulsive behavior. And any behavior can be changed. And I do not mean changing your behavior with willpower, discipline, and self control, no. Although these qualities are valuable for everyone to possess, there is a much easier way, which is to remove the desire, need, and feeling completely, which happens in your inner sanctum. So, if you are already peaceful and fulfilled, you are not going to want a hit, a rush, a distraction, a thrill, or an escape. Once again, if you are already full, you are not going to want to eat. One of the best ways to change behavior is to change the way you think and feel. So, one great way to do this is by rewiring the brain. This also helps to switch your focus and attention from external solutions and pleasure to internal ones. So, one of the ways to rewire the brain is to choose new thoughts and feelings. So, instead of trying to remold the old path or dig it up, we create another one nearby that's nicer, easier, and more attractive to walk on. So, I do have extensive methods for rewiring and optimizing cerebral function inside my private and customized programs. However, something you can do on your own is to choose different and happier thoughts for yourself, which meditation will also help you to do. Partially because it shrinks the amygdala, partially because it trains your focus to be inwards. All behavior and impulses can be traced back to the workings of the subconscious or unconscious mind. So rather than trying to fix or force a change in behavior with willpower or control, the best and fastest way is to go straight to the source, which is to work with and improve the unconscious mind. Now, I'm going to introduce you to something called CSBR. So take a good look at those letters because they are about to go away. They're about to disappear. So CSBR, R follows B, follows S, follows C. Let's start with R. R stands for results. A result is anything you have or don't have in your life right now. Your weight, how happy you are, money in the bank account, the state of your relationship, your entire life. All of it is a result. All result is a byproduct of behavior. So behavior is action, the action you take as well as the action you do not take. Anxiety and depression, for example, are all behaviors of the mind, that then create the neurochemistry of emotion, which repeated enough becomes your condition. So, on the spectrum of, let's call it hedonism, the only thing separating addicts from recreational users and doers is frequency and intensity of behavior. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. S stands for state, mental emotional states. So, states are created by the mind. All emotions are chemicals created by your hypothalamus in response to your thinking. Happy, sad, motivated, inspired, these are all states. And it is state that drives behavior, which often happens on an unconscious level. For example, you feel motivated and driven, you go to the gym, which is behavior B, which will ultimately get you a different result, R. If you have a good amount of discipline, awareness, and self control, for example, you can force behavior regardless of state, like going to the gym even if you don't want to. But that's the hard way, okay? Which would be like stopping yourself from having a drink even though you really want one, okay? So that's the hard way. That is not what we are doing here, as you will see in a minute. What is often the case with, like I said, I don't like the word addict, so let's call it extreme hedonist. What is often the case with extreme hedonists is that you are experiencing unwanted states and using whatever your poison of choice is to change, escape, distract, or numb you from it, even if you aren't totally aware of it happening. So, going back to my example from earlier, you are hungry, therefore you eat, or in your case, drink, use, or orgasm. But if you are already full, you wouldn't even think of food, right? Exactly. So then, how do you become full? This brings me to my next point and the ultimate key to overcoming addiction, as well as any kind of unwanted state or behavior, actually, like procrastination or anger. Okay? But let's focus on extreme hedonism for now. Is C, changing conditioning. C is the first domino. So, when you successfully change your conditioning, which involves a number of things, you will feel so full and satisfied that you will not want another bite. You would have access to your inner sanctum. That is how you get and stay balanced, in control, and compulsion free. When you change your conditioning, then your state, behavior, and results will automatically improve. Remember how I said your thoughts are things, that all emotions are actually chemicals triggered by your thoughts, which are then created by your hypothalamus? So your thinking is a part of your conditioning that starts at a subconscious or unconscious or conditioned level. So if you change that, then you will see a change in state, behavior, then result. For example, let's say you wanted your R result to be sobriety from alcohol. It would be much smoother and nicer and easier if you loved the way you were feeling and thinking, right? If you loved feeling sober and clean. The same way, if you wanted to lose weight, the best way is if you loved exercising and craved healthy food, right? Your state would be motivated, you would crave healthy things, and it would be easier for your behavior to fall in line with your desired results. So, what would it be like if you felt calm and peaceful and in love with life? If you were in love with who you are, at peace with your past, and happy in all that you do? Then, my friend, you are completely free. And that is the power of changing your conditioning. Now, for those of you who are ready to upgrade your innermost thoughts and feelings and change your conditioning, who want results as quickly, thoroughly, and effectively and smoothly as possible, who are ready to get sober and stay there happily, want to stay there because life is actually so much better and the feelings are juicier and richer and nicer and more vibrant. That is the kind of sobriety I'm talking about. That is what really exists in your inner sanctum. So, for those of you who want that, you have the option to work with me one on one inside Bliss. So, I have developed over the years highly specialized and personalized programs for key areas of life that people often struggle with. And they are all on my website, mindbody-magic.com. So, the area of life you are going to be working on as an evolving hedonist who wants to purify and cultivate and discover and access their inner sanctum is mental health. And the program you are wanting to take is Bliss or Project Bliss. So, Project Bliss consists of 36 hours of one on one private, confidential, and personalized coaching, healing, and optimization sessions with me. So ideally, we are doing 2 hours at a time together or more, especially at the beginning. And as we are having these sessions as many times, as many times a week as our schedules allow until the process is complete. Once is enough, once is definitely enough. But if you can progress and get results faster, why not, right? So 24 of these hours will be verbal sessions that include learning, training, applying techniques, and undergoing processes. And 12 of these hours will be somatic movement therapy, which involve body movements, postures, and breathing techniques. So once you complete the program, you will have connected to your inner sanctum and you will likely be sober. and it can be relatively easy and enjoyable for you to stay there too. I have recommended protocols, aftercare protocols for that, which I will share with you when the time comes. So, there are 4 ways to work with me. One is online. Two is at my location in Jumeirah 2 if you live in Dubai. Three is at your location if you live in the UAE. And four is for me to travel to you or with you wherever you are and complete the majority of the program in 3 or 4 or 5 days, depending on availability. If you would like to get started, please see a link here to book a 20-minute Zoom call with me where I can answer any of your questions and discuss logistics. So, this initial 20-minute Zoom call is complimentary and a way for you to start your breakthrough. My standard hourly rate moving forward after the call begins at about 1,800 dirhams or right around the $500 mark. And this number does increase with domestic or international travel. So, there we are, everybody. Now, because I work with each of you individually, I only have so many people I can take on at any one time. So, if you would like one of those people to be you or someone close to you, I recommend booking your breakthrough call with me soon. Do make sure you are also following me on Instagram at Nadine Al-Huneidi if you aren't already. I often share helpful life advice. Looking forward to meeting you if I am meeting you, and for all of you, best of luck, stay strong, and remember to always begin with the end in mind. Be well and take care.